Toss a coin to my ish. Alright, yeah. Here we are with another sale, and yes, we've got The Witcher on sale at its biggest ever discount, so that has to go into the list. I'll stick it at number 1. The rest of the sales are finishing up in the next, hour or two, so I'm going to go through and see if I can dig out 9 others that are worth paying attention to. And this week we've actually got a pretty sweet giveaway for the GTW 270 hybrid headphones, which plug into the Nintendo Switch through the USB Type-C port, and they give you completely latency-free sound. So yeah, if you want to win a copy of these, they're made by EPOS. I think they're quite expensive as well, but they've said that they'll give you guys a set of them. All you have to do is leave your usual comments, but make sure your notifications are on, and we'll do a community post just letting you know who the winner is in a day or two. Quite decent that, and it means I don't have to ship anything. They're going to do it directly, so happy days. Right. Oh no. What's on sale? Let's find out. First up then, and I've just mentioned it, it's The Witcher, the Complete Edition. Now, if you're unaware, they actually split the titles out. So you had The Witcher 3 base game and you could buy the other bits separately. But this has all of the expansion packs, all of the goodness, and has a massive percentage drop at the moment. This is decent. But if you held off because, well, let's be honest, it's a slightly older title and you can get it cheaper elsewhere, but you fancy it on the go, then yeah, by all means pick it up. We've done a few patch update videos of this one, and it's much improved, but in all honesty, it's very impressive that it even runs at all, and it runs this well. You play as Geralt of Rivia, tons of questing, completely off the beaten path. You can do whatever you want really, but if it is your first time picking it up, try not to just steamroll through the main storyline. Just go wandering and see what you can find. It has a rather epic download size of 26 gigs, and it will take you, well, I think I've probably put 250 hours into the game. Yeah, you can spend a lot of time playing this one. That little beauty of a sale goes on until the 2nd of March. Then we've got Morbid the 7 Acolytes, which is, again, the lowest it's ever been, at 30% off, taking it down to £13.99. This is a really good game, actually, and unfortunately for it, it launched at a time where there were many very good games, and it kind of got swamped by all the other releases. It describes itself as a horror punk action RPG, filled with Lovecraftian themes, and a bit of a horror edge to it as well. You play as the last surviving Striver of Didrum, and your whole life has been spent training to defeat the 7 Acolytes. There's some great boss fights in this game, and a perk leveling system that's quite interesting. Loads of lore, loads of NPCs to talk to and meet throughout the world, and you'll be managing your health, stamina, and also your sanity. It's only a single player experience, and it will take you around about 10 hours to work your way through it. This sale goes on until March the 11th, but it's definitely worth considering. Next up then, and possibly to time with the release of their next game, we've got Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town, which I think Glen reviewed on the channel. It's a farming RPG simulation title from the renowned Story of Seasons guys. Now, you'll know that this is the real deal, in air quotes, and not a certain other game which took the name but not the gameplay. You'll have to look after your farm. There's loads of different people to interact with and make relationships with and give gifts to. You can fall in love. There's loads of different areas to explore, and although the visuals potentially aren't the greatest, the gameplay more than makes up for it. There's a little bit of DLC available, but it's generally just like dog costumes and stuff. But the base game is very fun. It's about a gig, comes from publisher Marvelous, and it's 26% off, and that goes on until March the 12th. Next up, we've got Vaporium Steampunk Dungeon Crawler, which again we've got a review of on the channel, and came from Shannon, and she absolutely nailed it. I think it was one of her first reviews for us way back in the day. They've been super swamped, so they haven't been able to do many more. It describes itself as a grid-based dungeon crawler RPG that has an original steampunk setting inspired by, obviously, old school classics. It's scored really well across the board, and that's actually quite a deep game. Again, you have those echoes of Lovecraftian ethos, as well as a bit of inspiration from games like Bioshock even, in terms of some of the visual character designs. It comes from developer Fatboy Games. It's got a 2.4GB download, It's going to take you around about 20 hours to complete. Bit of a wild card this one, but I know there's going to be a few of you out there that really like this style, and you really can't go wrong at this price, 70% off until March the 11th. Next up then, probably a perfect sales pickup really. It's Rad Rogers The Radical Edition. It's one of those games that's quite good, but not good enough for the full price. The artful asking price is like £29 or something. I think it's actually, no, it's £27. And at the moment it's 82% off, taking it down to a £5. And that's just about right. It also features 2-player couch co-op, a few little Easter eggs hidden here and there. And look, the gameplay is not overly challenging. But if you are after just a pretty simple, old-school couch co-op experience, yeah, it's not bad, and certainly not at that price. It's 4.2 gigs in terms of download size. It's had a couple of patches since launch, and we do also have a full review if you want to check that one out. That sale goes on until March the 4th.
I'll take their lives! You gotta pay for that! I've got a present for you. Kaboom!
Then we've got Golem Gates, which is 70% off until March the 10th. And this is a strategy real-time card game, which is actually surprisingly good. It's post-apocalyptic and sci-fi blended together, but as I say, is a real-time action strategy. You choose your glyphs and then you customize your deck, choosing different units, buildings, traps, buffs, debuffs, and techs, which you'll then use on the fly. There's quite a decent amount of strategy to it, allowing you to defend, to flank, or fortify your position. And there's a single-player campaign here, as well as online multiplayer for up to 4 people. Quite chunky, it's 11.1 gigs to download, but yeah, bit of a hidden gem this one I reckon. Then we've got The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3, which Jace reviewed for us on the channel and thoroughly enjoyed. It comes from publisher NIS America and was developed by Falcom. It's classic JRPG goodness and features Rean Schwarzer, I think that's how you say his name, in, well, a dark plot to destroy his homeland. What else would it be? He has to train up and prepare a new generation of heroes as he fulfills his role as an instructor. It's very cool, this one, and actually it's been maybe a bit overshadowed by some of the other JRPGs and RPGs on Switch. You're looking at around about 100 to 150 hours if you want to do everything, and at 40% off it's its lowest ever price. After playing that triangle strategy, whatever it's called, that they've just got the demo of, I went back to Disgaea 5 and man, this is a decent game. It's currently half price, taking it down to $19.99. I'm not sure if it's available in other regions, you'll have to check the price at the bottom of the screen. But it's classic tactical turn-based action. Disgaea does it really well, and this one includes all 8 bonus scenarios, as well as 4 fan favourite characters and 3 different character classes. It's absolutely gigantic. There's tons of gameplay here, around about 100 to 250 if you want to do everything. But yeah, if you've not played the Disgaea series, don't worry, you can just jump in wherever really. They're pretty easy to jump into. But if you want to start with Disgaea 1 complete, then that's also on sale. Go and grab that. This sale goes on until March the 8th. Next up, and I will mention it as many times as it takes for that person who's on the fence to jump over the fence and make the purchase, and it's Lacrimosa of Donna. It's such a good game. Someone thought that I described the story as cliche last week. What I was saying was cliche was being washed up on an island, but the actual story as it progresses is far from cliche, and it's a brilliant, excellent game. It's an action RPG, so you're not worrying about turn-based combat, slowing the proceedings down. You're literally jumping into the fights, and it's all quite speedy. And you'll find new survivors on the island, and then they'll join you, gradually build up your base camp. You can unlock new areas. It's just a really, really well-designed game. You're looking at about 50 to 100 hours to do everything, and there are some brilliant boss fights. It's 14.7 gigs to download, and do not sleep on this. It's the lowest it's ever been in price over in the US. It's 60% off. You'll have to check at the bottom of the screen to see if it's on sale in your region as well. Let's start with The Witcher and end with The Witcher then, and it's Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. I didn't think I was going to like this at all, but it is brilliant. It combines that Gwent card game that you'll find in The Witcher with a kind of a free roaming RPG, then with strategy mechanics thrown in. I absolutely loved it. We've got a review of this one on the channel if you want to go and check it out. But yeah, the Witcher 3 developers, the story writers I should say, had a big part to play in this. And you play as and control Meve, who's Queen of Lyria and Rivia, and battles take place with that car-based mechanic, but they're actually decent. It's like streamlined Gwent, so yeah, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, but really, really love this game. I think it might have scored in the 90s. I'll put a link to the review down in the description. First up on our avoids then, we've got Void Space Racing. Now I wanted to like this one. It's, it's set in space. I love space. It's a racer. I like racing games. But this is just poor. The controls are floaty. It's a real mess. And at the moment it's 80% off, taking it down to 89p. So there might be some of you out there quite tempted to pick it up. In my opinion, just don't bother. Let's be honest, you've got more than enough good games to play. And the controls here are just awful. Riot Civil Unrest. I had such high hopes for this. It looked like a strategy title where, well, you can control different riots. But unfortunately, there's very little control. The controls are really floaty. You try and give people actions and tell them what to do, and they just totally ignore you. And then it's a really short game. It will take you maybe a couple of hours to work your way through the levels. And you're kind of left flabbergasted staring at this end credits screen thinking, well, hang on. When's the game starting? It's a shame as well because I kind of like this use of pixel art and this style. But yeah, just give me Command & Conquer on Switch. I'll take that any day of the week, not this. So that's it for this week. I've got to go and have film night, which is a bonfire and a film outdoors. Hopefully you're going to have a nice evening. If you've picked up some games, you most certainly will be, or not. I guess it depends which way you look at it. But do subscribe to the channel and make sure you leave a comment if you want to win one of those GTW 270 hybrid sets of headphones from EPOS. Thanks to the Patreons who support us each and every month. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys. See ya!